Let's open up these awesome new Masters of the Universe Origins figures coming up after this. Alright, it's so hard to get these. I've been pretty lucky. I keep my eye on the stock web page. I rush around to all the Walmarts as soon as I see that they're in stock. Sometimes they put them out before they receive them or something because they're gone before they even are received, before they show up on any website. And I never saw any Tila or Beastman in my part of Canada. I know that they showed up on the East Coast. I'm in the middle. I'm kind of the East Coast. I'm in Eastern time, but not the East Coast. So they're sending one box to select stores. That's what we're seeing in Canada. I know you have giant displays in the States. You're very lucky, even though you are not able to find them sometimes. A lot of people are not able to find them. These sent to me from Europe, and these ones are American cards that are sent to Canada. The first wave of WWE, I'm pretty sure that they didn't come to Canada, but somebody said to me once that we got them, they just were very low quantities. I guess that's possible considering how little I've seen any of these figures. This is what the card looks like. This is the awesome art. This is the back of the packaging. This is Trapjaw. He is awesome. This is Manny Faces. This is the back of his card. Beautiful artwork. Oh no, I'm gonna have to glue that back in. It's nice that I've got these fully unpunched ones. These are the cards that I'm opening. I've already done Orko and Scareglow. Is this a Halloween review? I guess so. They're monsters. They're scary. This is Tila. Love her. So happy. Don't really have a problem with the knees. A lot of people do. The back of the beautiful art card. This is what a international card looks like. This is Beastman. I'm so happy to have him. I have doubles of everybody except for these two now. I didn't get doubles of the WWE ones, and I'm missing Wave 1 of the WWE ones. I really want Wave 1. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put on glasses. I'm going to cut these open very carefully, because I save the cards. Did I show you the back of all of this? I guess I didn't really say, look at that beautiful art. It's beautiful. Let me double check that I showed you this. Look at the back of that beautiful art. Show you. I'm really excited to have these open. Here we go. What I notice the most when I look at these figures, and I mentioned this a lot in my first review of Wave 1 figures. However, I haven't posted that one yet, but I will, because I didn't think anybody would be interested because they were so old by the time I got them. But I made the video anyway. The Orko and Scareglow video is up though, and you can see that, where I do show this other mini comic, and I think that that is what you want to see because the name of the mini comic is Double Trouble. I don't think we have seen that. And if you want to see what it says, if you want to read the comic, maybe I can hold it still enough and you can pause it to read what is happening in these pages. That is the strangest thing with the Canadian comics, is that we do not have the words and we do not know what is going on. But now I do. Even though I didn't read that yet, you might have. I love the artwork. I love these comics. I love that we're getting comics. It's kind of bittersweet having no words in them opposed to having words in them because, you know, we get more art. More picture, which picture is always good, opposed to words. So that is the difference between international comics and American comics. Now the difference between the figures, that's a whole other thing. Now opening up these two, I really noticed the difference in the colors. These two, this time, not so much. They pretty much are the same, and we'll see that. Even though there are definitely some differences, the gun Many Faces gun, I noticed that as being totally tinier. Let's take a look at my childhood Many Faces. Have them in an open baggie to protect him from scratching other ones. This pistol is totally the same, but totally smaller. I don't know how I feel about that. I like a hunky chunky weapon, but this one looks really nice. I'm really liking the new colors. I loved the colors of the originals. They were this muted, weird color combinations. I go on about this all the time when talking about Masters of the Universe, but colors that you wouldn't think would look good together, they just do. This is a commemorative because I never had a trap jaw. What is that on his belt? I don't know what that little green dot is, if that came off somebody else or if that is supposed to be painted that way. You know what, maybe I do have one now, because I have the hook, and the hook was something that did not come with a commemorative, but this one is the commemorative, but I might have gotten one in later years, come to think of it. Anyway, the commemoratives are quite faithful to the original ones down to the elastic in their groin. See the colors? I call them gas station 70s colors, and this is the updated one. I love these. I really appreciate these. These are really modern. I think kids would love these. Kind of remind me of like modern day Hot Wheels. The best part about this and this is that they're solid blocks of color. That is why I love Masters of the Universe in the beginning. That is why I love it now. That is why I did not really like the classics. And I did not really like the 2000X. That was more a style, because some of them did come out more cartoony. I didn't like the cartoon. I like my figures to look like cartoons, though. These are awesome, giant toddler toys. This is my favorite Masters of the Universe line now. Can I say that? I think I might like these ones more. I don't even need the articulation. I like that it's there. I like that it's so well hidden, because it can really ruin a sculpt. I love the popsicle. They might have even done it better. There might be less paint deco. That's not true. There's more paint deco still on these than these. As you can see, his eyes are just black dots. They put a little bit extra paint job going on in there. He's so cool. Okay, weapons that he comes with are this blaster. How faithful are they to the originals? Let me see. I don't want to mix these things up. That's pretty faithful. It's definitely a resculpt, but it's pretty much the same. I definitely don't want to mix these up. I'm getting scared just thinking about it. Here is the clamp hand. This one's a bit thicker. Are these borrowed? I don't think that they're borrowing anything. They're not saving money from reusing classics. I don't know why that is, and they don't seem to be crossing over the WWE accessories either. For the most part, they're just all new molds and sculpts. This doesn't have a hook on it. I guess the original ones didn't have a... That's weird. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not that familiar with him because I didn't have him as a kid. Oh, this feels good. This is for Beastman. Beastman, let's look at his colors while we're still looking at colors. The whip has more of a cloth string. And this one has more of a nylon string. But they kept the handle the same, the big Jim handle. However, they made it even bigger this time. That's kind of silly. And people always struggle with putting the whip in his hand, but I never put the whip in his hand. I always felt that this worked so much better in this hand on Beastman. And I think that that is applicable to the new ones. He does suffer from bent fingers from the packaging, I guess that is. Wait, it went away. Those fingers have been coming in super bent. Now, I don't know why I thought that the colors were more different on him, because they're not that different. In this case, Beastman, The new Beastman is far more muted. Look at my Beastman. All of my figures have excellent paint on them. I took really good care of them as a kid, even though I played with them every day. But over time, the paint is separating from the plastic. That is not due to my rugged playing. This is definitely more muted though. And I will put these arm harnesses on to see how well they fit. It works in the same system. It's a much smaller peg this time. The rubber is much softer. I guess that you put them on the outside. Oh, it's fitting really nicely. Not everything fits as well. That's something that I noticed about many faces, is that there are little clicks, notches in the original where it settles into place for the faces. Here it's just loose, so it's gonna shift and slide around a bit. And for not thinking that he was that drastic of a body color, he really, really is. I always thought that his skin color was so weird that it didn't look like it was actually skin. Kind of like with wrestlers, they're so big that they don't even look naked, even though they're just wearing a Speedo. You don't think of them as being completely naked. This guy doesn't look completely naked for some reason, but he's super naked. This guy's skin is so yellow, but I guess his face is also yellow. It looks a little more like body. Yeah, I think it does. Even though that arm, see how big that arm is? It's like it's bigger than He-Man's arm. That's not supposed to be allowed, right? They make him so big to fit the gimmick, I guess. Again, the WWE, the new ones, for some reason, they don't reuse the stuff, and I don't know why. Okay, he has articulated neck here, which is cool. I don't know if this head comes off. I don't want to break it, so I'm not going to try. Something that he does have are separations. That's not something he had before. He just went from face to face. This time he has little segments in between. See, just face to face to face. That kind of kept his mold down. He really bulked him up. He's a big guy. And also, for the first time, this feels more like McDonald's plastic, this body part. I don't know what it is, why that is. And because they are so rubbery and such great plastic. But this is the hollowest piece, even though it shouldn't have to be any more hollow than any other body. It's just smoother but anyway, Mattel has the best plastics, and I haven't heard of anybody's figures breaking at the joints or anything, and I'm loving the hand sculpt, and he's got more paint going on than most figures because they had to paint his whole body. But he is still looking real good to me. The color is super yellow. Not sure I enjoy that too much. And let's see how much they share, because these were the body part sharers. They gave him furry underwear, but they did give him the many faces legs. I love shared parts. I thought that was so cool. And they gave him a new own arm. Even though he could have had exactly the same arm, they decided to resculpt it and make it thicker and bigger. That disappoints me. I love the connection that makes them all the same parts. They gave him this little robot part on his shoulder because it's supposed to be a shared part. Wait a minute, that's not true. He does have that on the original figure. Well, I guess they're not supposed to have the same arms anyway. Look, they don't have the same arms. They have the same design, but they actually remolded them. So they did it the same way, so I shouldn't complain. Well done, Mattel, I apologize. Okay, Tila. New Tila. Look at her. People have a problem with the knees. I do not. I mean, they're not the best knees, but I don't have a problem with it. Okay, here is what my original Tila looked like, and I didn't understand what happened when they had the commemorative, because I had matching hair and boots. And I don't know where these dark boots came from. I know that the Canadian ones that I had were only coming with the first 4 comic books. You wouldn't believe how many of the first 4 comic books I have. And maybe that's why that's my favorite faction, is because all of my figures came with that. And maybe they just didn't translate the newer comics to other languages, so they just pumped out the old ones, and that's why I have so many of them. All of those mini comics I never saw until recent years. Well, back when the internet was invented. So the commemorative one gave her the darker boots, and that is what they based this new Tila on. She has darker hair too. Does that hair match the boots? No, I think the boots are still darker. She's golder than her, and then they brought her back to a more matte gold, darker brown gold. So we do have a mashup of many different Teelas going on here. I really like her face. Something that I don't like about the new She-Ra is that they gave her black lines all around her eye. And that is what the Four Horsemen's, or I don't know if the Four Horsemen did it. Whoever did the paint, I guess it would have been Super 7, Four Horsemen. Their deco, they always put the black all around the eyes. And it really, I don't like how that looks. And that is how She-Ra looks. This is the, look at those cartoony eyes. Look at that paint job. Looks feminine. Looks feminine. That is the original one. Look how good that face is painted. And I think a lot has to do with them putting the lines under the eyes. Now this looks the best out of all of them. It doesn't look as cartoony. I don't like that the paint doesn't match. Look again. Hair doesn't match the boots, and the gold doesn't match the bands on the arms. It just would make a more cohesive figure. Something else that I do like about the She-Ra and the Sorceress that have been announced is that they have given them thicker legs, it appears. I don't know if it's just prototypes, but they gave them back the thunder thighs, is what we called them as children. I guess I don't really notice a difference with them. Yes, I do. Them standing next to each other. But it was just something that was something you never saw. And it was a really progressive proportion, I think. Her chest's not too big. Anyway, it looked really barbaric, and it was quite signature that she had the different proportions. Okay, the difference between the armor, these are my 80s originals. The color is pretty similar. It looks really, really similar on camera. I love the rubber again. I love the material that the new one is made out of. Can it fit on the old one? Yeah, you can put it on the old one if you want. It doesn't fit as close to the face as the original does. Got a bigger buckle. She looks beautiful. A nice feminine face for once. That hair detail. More detail in the hair than we got from the original. And I thought her head was smaller, but it's actually bigger. In some ways it's smaller, and in some ways it's not. It's just definitely less cartoony. I should always be showing you my original one, shouldn't I? That one is so nice. I really love the 70s influence that is in the original, but I really love how modern yet authentic these ones are. They're so truthful, yet so updated that you forget that they're not the original ones. That's what's great about them. I'm interested to see the difference between the staff. It is shorter, it is thicker, it's a resculpt, and it's very, very nice. Again, this looks super 70s to me. This looks more updated. She doesn't have the closed hand like she did originally. I think that probably makes her a lot more versatile. Instead of a wrist clip, the shield has a hand space, but it looks pretty similar too. And this is what she looks like. She can't lean on her staff. I guess maybe she can. She puts her hand down right. I did like that. The staff was really, really long. I don't know why they didn't make it as long, because it was cool to fight with it like a pole. But yeah, I love her snake armor. And in my universe, I've always believed that Man-at-Arms was her real father and that the Sorceress was just trying to keep it a secret. and not let him know that he was really the father. I love the Mike Young and everything that happened in it, but I don't buy the whole Fisto father thing. That was just silly. But now, today, in modern times, it is my decision that her father is King Hiss. Maybe I don't know the story behind the relationship. I'm not going to ask or anything. It's not my business to know all the details about what went on there. But yeah, King Hiss is definitely Teela's father. I don't know what's going to happen, but something really cool is going to happen. Wouldn't that be wonderful if that is what's going to happen in the new story? I just love the snake armor. Like I said, the original 4 mini comics and the Green Goddess, that was my faction, probably because those are the stories that I had. And I can still accept the Green Goddess as canon, maybe. It's kind of weird that she looks exactly like Teela, though, in Teela's armor. Maybe the Green Goddess is Teela visiting He-Man in the past. Yeah, you know what? That could explain that. That's how I'm gonna work that out. The Green Goddess is actually Teela visiting He-Man from the future. I'm sticking with that. That is my mythology. Which way are his horns supposed to go? Are they supposed to point up or down? It looks like that they point up. I have mine on backwards. Clasps always went on the outside though, so I guess I just have these reversed. Did I show you everything? I didn't give you a good look at Trapjaw, I guess. They gave him a nice long arm. He has his hooks where he can hang up all of his extra weaponry, which I always loved. It's a nice tight fit. It's not just hanging. Oops. Careful not to bend your little hooks though, guys. I just bent mine. I don't know if I weakened it or not. The belt is nice and rubber this time. Love the material. I love the plastic so much. He can store things back there. His jaw is articulated, which is an extra point of articulation and so cool. Love that. He's got his zip line head and the hand molds are so nice, and I love these bright colors. Yeah, he looks especially good. His color and his face pop so much, and his scary little beady yellow eyes. Okay, it's too bad that they didn't put a bend in this crook right here. Instead, they just added another twist, which is unnecessary because there's a twist where you plug that in. Also with him, this is all one piece now. So before you could take this plastic part off, it was a separate shell, and you can't do that anymore. Well, I mean, you're not supposed to take off the arms on these ones. That's weird that it's all one sculpt, but it does make mixing and matching a lot more fun. That's the best part about these. You can create your own monsters. Let me just say again, the rubber, everything, all the accessories are rubber, and that's awesome. Look at the joint in Teela's wrist. That's something else that I noticed, but I like it. The spray on Beastman's chest is just the same paint job as they had on the original one. Again, great soft rubber, such a muted tone. Very odd, I love it. They took the snake skin to the back of her headdress this time. That's not something we had before. All of this has more detail. It's the opposite with many faces. Look at all the deeper lines in his face and in the piping on his body. And then in the new one, less detail on his face and less detail in his breathing apparatus, or whatever those pipes are. I love them. I love them so much. I love them so much for now. I love that they're not disintegrating like my original ones. I love the modern colors for a modern time. Okay, I hope you like these two. If I left anything out and you want to see it, please let me know. I hope you listen to all of this. This is definitely more of a podcast than a toy review. That's what you're going to get with me and these things. I just have to geek out on my Masters of the Universe all the time. Hope you'll like, comment, share, and subscribe. I love you so much. We'll see you next time. Do I have a favorite from today? You know what? I love Beastman. I love Many Faces. But Trapjaw's poppin' colors, man. And a lot of people get really nostalgic. I get more excited about figures that I didn't have than figures that I did have. I want to get all the figures that I didn't have. I didn't have any of Wave 6. So that's what I'm most excited about. And I'm so happy that they're putting out so many so early, mostly because they do have the regular body parts. These two are my favorite from today. I love them. I love this. Love these toys. So happy.